Most podcasts don't last past the 10th episode. Well, this is our 10th episode, and we want to share the 10 lessons we've learned in doing our podcast. Let's talk about it.
Come on, man. You did that one. You did it, though. We always shoot our hooks at the end of the episode.
I think people are also afraid of video, of doing video, because they just assume it's going to be complicated.
Yeah, they don't feel the pressure to perform because there's no mic in front of them.
Right. It's knowing where you want the conversation to go.
Think about this. Mom, if she had a podcast, would I rather, because my mom died, if you guys are listening to this or don't know. She died, how long has it been? It's more than 7 years?
It will be 7 years on Christmas.
So it's been 7 years. If she had a podcast and I went back to listen to it, do you think I'd rather just listen to the audio, or would I like to see her talking while she's delivering it?
Let's talk about it.
Dun, 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 dun.
10.
The 10th episode.
Most people, so like the people, I don't know when people say they, I don't know who they are, but.
What do you mean they?
No, what do you mean you people? No, they say that most podcasts don't last to 10 episodes. And this.
So we can quit?
Is our 10th episode. So we're.
Why do people not make
no
it to the?
I don't know. Well, we started ours before, and I don't think that one lasted for 10 episodes. But we were just.
What was it, like 4? I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, maybe 4.
I actually archived it on YouTube.
Did
I was
you?
like, yeah. So I was like, because some of those. It's still there, but it's just so like because some of the guests we had on were dope, and we could have them come back again, like. Especially if we have the same conversation again, like, might as well. Like,
let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Again.
But yeah, 10th episode. I'm excited. And yeah, I think it's crazy that people say that most podcasts don't last 10 episodes, and we're at 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And actually we have more than 10, but this is the 10th one that will be published.
That's funny, because you could have, in my head, I just thought it was the 10th episode.
No, because remember we have some that we haven't even released
If I'm not
yet.
looking at Notion, or like you can keep track of it, I'm like, I don't know, it's sure 10. It is the 10th. It's not.
And what we were talking about I think we just approached stuff differently this time versus when we tried it before.
Yeah.
Which I guess we'll get into this. But so we're going to share 10 things we've learned since we started the podcast.
Podcasting.
Yeah. And we have our outline. Do you want to do the first one or do you want me to do it?
I guess you could do it.
I think, I feel like before we go over that, I feel like a lot of people overcomplicate doing podcasts.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, we should just.
Well, just talking to our clients, people who don't currently have a podcast or which I feel like most of our clients are on the verge of starting.
Yeah.
Starting their podcast. But just talking to them, hearing them say, oh, well.
This and
some of them sound like legitimate excuses.
What's an excuse that is legitimate?
I don't know. I was going to say time, but then we...
Because you know how I am. Because hey, add the tag. Yep, add the tag.
Is it important to you?
Yeah. Yep. So what's the next
card.
excuse?
I'm add a card, right?
Yeah.
Heather, add a card if you're editing it right here.
So I think the card will actually show up right there. That's hard. I don't know how weather people do this. Bro, they be doing that.
Oh, wait.
Bro, that's hard. That's where it showed up at. Okay, anyways. So there's
We're
no
talking about
excuses.
overcomplicating it. Talking to some of our people. You're right. There's no excuses. Even if some of them sound...
legitimate. They are. But like you can get past those. And it's like, I honestly feel like, I know we said we did this podcast because we like having conversations more than just talking head YouTube videos. I think that's in our first episode. We talk about just being you. And I feel like people like the fact that we have conversations. They love that. But
I think there's a place for talking heads.
Right.
But I also think it depends on who you are.
Yeah. And I think another reason I like this podcast is because I can prove all the people wrong.
Yeah.
That are saying, oh, well, I don't have enough time, or I need to have a fancy camera, or it takes a ton of time to edit. Bro, we have a ton of clients. And for us to be able to edit our own podcast and everyone else's stuff, that tells me everything I know about not having enough time, because it's actually not that hard.
I think you said the camera thing. I think people are also afraid of video, of doing video, because they just assume it's going to be complicated.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's the first thing I think. Hold on, let me see.
You see how I flow?
and I messed it up because you're flowing just perfectly. It would have been perfect.
Thank you for pointing this out.
The smoother transition would have been like, you know what? That reminded like our first thing we learned was that would have been a very good transition.
It was a good transition until you pointed it out.
You know what? Hold on a second. I'm going to watch it back. I do think that your transition was smooth. I think it just left out the fact that it was the first.
Just because it's not a Eugene smooth doesn't mean it's not smooth. It's a Heather smooth.
Listen, watch it back. I'm telling you, it was very smooth. Because like once you did it,
I will watch it back because I got to add the part.
I was like, did she do that on purpose? Because the way you did it was perfect. You just left out that it was our first lesson.
Thank you for pointing that out. Number one. No.
But the first one is, do you want to say it since you're...
Yeah. Well, no, I said...
Say it? What? Just read it?
Video isn't harder. It's just an extra step.
Which is true.
Yes.
And, bro, there's so many people on social that say things like, you have to have video or audio is better. And it just... annoys me. I was trying to think of the right thing to say that wasn't like...
I can tell.
It annoys me because audio is easy for you and video is hard doesn't mean that that's the same for everyone.
Yeah.
And so some people see these people that are like, they get engagement. So people think that, oh, since this person said this, it's true.
Yeah.
It's not. Yes, you can be very successful with just audio. People do it. But I don't care what anyone says. Video is way more popular than just audio.
Yeah.
You know, podcasts that have, if someone that had a very successful audio podcast did video too, I guarantee you they'd have even more of a following. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people will say, well, it's more steps and it's harder. You have to set up. No, we set up our camera. We hit record and we have our mics on. So if we were going to do just an audio podcast, you're doing that anyway. Set up a camera. It doesn't have to be a fancy camera. You can use your iPhone. Like now iPhones, you can shoot and we only have one camera.
Yeah.
Like you can do it if you want multiple, but we're doing it as simple as possible just to prove that it is doable.
And I find it interesting too, because people who are doing audio only, we all know I don't like, if you have been following anything, you know I don't like audio.
She
so
hates audio.
This is where I'm confused because I would think we're used to having phones and recording video. So it just seems like I could see the excuse of only doing video and not audio. Because this is where I'm confused. Like the excuses where people are like, oh, I only want to do audio. I'm like, what? That makes no sense. We're used to seeing videos all over social media. You record every day, or, you know, mostly every day from your phones. So why would that be an excuse? My excuse would be, I have the video, but I don't have good audio just because I don't like doing audio stuff. I mean, I do because...
You don't like it, but you do it.
Right. But I'm just saying for the everyday non-audio layman, why would video be an issue?
So again, people say it's an extra step. It's an extra step to set up a camera. And then you have to get lighting. And you don't. Remember we did the few episodes when we were in Florida. Yeah. We just did it outside. Just used the sun.
Yeah. The sun light. The last 5 minutes was beaming into my face.
We did that. And when we post that one, we should make sure we link this. We'll have to go back and link this one to it. But anyways, that's an excuse for people. But all that to say is I feel like if audio is your thing, cool, do just audio. But I always challenge people, try it. Try it for like 5 episodes and see that it's not that much harder. Yeah. Because most people are like, oh, then I have to edit. Do you edit your audio? If you have to cut out stuff in audio, it's going to do the same thing for the video. It's really easy. And we don't even edit out. Only thing we edit is the little trailer at the beginning. And then I set in and out points, export the whole thing. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be any kind of complicated
I don't think there's
editing.
been anything that we've cut out. It would have to be something really
since we've been doing this, I haven't cut out anything since we've been doing this. Yeah. So I'm
always waiting for the girls to call us.
And I'll put that in there. I don't care. It's gonna go in there. But yeah, any editing you do for audio, it just follows with the video. So it's not that much.
Just like flows right into the editing.
Yeah. And like, think about this. Mom, if she had a podcast, would I rather, because my mom died, if you guys are listening to this or don't know, she died, how long has it been? It's more than 7 years?
It will be 7 years on Christmas.
So it's been 7 years. If she had a podcast and I went back to listen to it, do you think I'd rather just listen to the audio, or would I like to see her talking while she's delivering audio?
See her. You'd
You
want
see what
to
I'm
see
saying?
her.
So these people that are saying, "Oh, don't do video," like, bro. So like think about outside of the fact of, oh yeah, it's easier to just do audio. Let's say it is. What are you leaving behind though?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like us, our girls will be able to listen and watch us when we do our podcast.
Right.
Like, and that has to be something that no one can take from them, you know?
Yeah.
Versus if it was just audio.
And imagine how long your podcast will live. If
Yeah.
it lives for years and decades.
That's what I'm saying. Like, think about
and who knows where the things are going to be in
Mm-hmm.
the future. This could be I always think about that. Like people from back in the day have journals or scrolls or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
whatever. This is going to be the footprint right now.
Yes. And like, there are a few people I'm picturing in my head that are on social, and listen, they're killing it with podcasts. And I like their stuff on socials, and they do know what they're doing when it comes to audio podcasts. It just crushes me that they're not doing video too.
Yeah.
Because think about the people that are in their lives.
Yeah.
When they're gone, I know people would much rather see the video
Yeah.
than just hear the audio.
And I know what another excuse is. People are thinking, well, my podcast isn't that important. But, or yet, until it is, you know?
But I will say that good video with sucky audio, that's annoying. Like, so if you're going to focus on something, do make sure you have really good audio. Like, don't have trash audio.
That's funny because I would say the opposite.
No, because people will put up with a sucky video if they can hear it okay. But if you can't hear it, that's why I'm like checking my mic all the time. And I know my beard covers it sometimes, but like.
But that's true with movies. I mean, most movies, there are so many different genres and cinematography types now that I think it really doesn't matter. People are used to what is considered like that's bad visual. But you're right, to go along with it, like they will accept that. I'll go to a movie and accept, okay, well, I don't like that's how that's filmed, but at least it sounds great.
Yeah, right. But so that's the one thing that we learned is that a lot of people think that video is harder. I didn't realize that people think that, and maybe it's because we have a background in video, so we're just like, to us, it's just like second nature.
Just do it.
Yeah, we have lights, but you don't have to do this.
Right.
You can legit just do a video on Zoom, take that recording, and post it as
find
podcast.
good lighting, whether it's natural lighting, or if you're lit by a computer screen.
Don't do that. Heather, don't have people doing that. Because I'm going to see that and it's going to annoy that. Listen, if that's the best you can do it. Okay?
Just don't send it to Eugene.
But listen, like, if you have been considering or are thinking about starting a podcast, just try video for 5 of the episodes, okay? If you're listening to this, that's what I recommend.
You don't have to make it to the full 10.
Yeah. And the thing is, then you can use clips too. You can chop those clips up and use them. Because that's the way social is going right now, you know? So, next thing we learned, podcast templates.
Yeah.
They save so much time. And this kind of ties into the editing.
They make things a little easier.
Yeah. It goes back into the editing. Even if it's just audio only or video, we have a template timeline in DaVinci. We use DaVinci to edit all our stuff. And it's like, it has all our intro audio and the outro. We don't have outro. That's something I got to do, is the outro.
Yeah.
I haven't done that.
See?
But
it's not even perfect yet.
Oh, yeah. We're far from perfect. But we have a template to where once I'm done with this, I will go in there right away, drop it in there, and I'll forget that I've finished episodes because I do it so fast. Like, oh, yeah, it's already done. And instead of I just copy the text from whatever we have in Notion as the title, put it in there, and it's done. So, it saves a ton of time. Even the audio presets are set up. I have color grade that's just like, it's a preset that I put on everything. And like, it seriously takes me no time to edit these. And then, you go through and do all the meta and all that stuff. I love how we have that system worked out. But I think even outside of the editing, having social templates to where whenever we post stuff on social
media.
It's just like, drop it in here. It's already. Right. So I love that. I think that's one of the.
For social media templates, what do you mean?
No, well, it's in DaVinci. So it's just sized
So
right.
it's like,
Yeah, sized
okay.
right, and the text is the right size, and the captions.
So every time you know it's going to fit.
Yeah, and then and then just add the what's
I
it
just
called?
wanted to make sure the people know.
Oh, well, you asked it like you didn't know.
That's because I represent.
You're for the people. And that was number 2. So the next one is
podcast outlines.
Yes.
That way we don't sit here for 3 hours and talk about
video.
Yeah. So we don't sit here and we're like, off the top of our head, here are 10 things that we do, blah, blah, blah. And then we get stuck on the third one for an hour.
Right. I think it's what helped us from, because last time when we did these, we'd have conversations with people, which I still love, and we still have conversations.
Conversations are great.
We still do, but we have an outline now to where we're actually know, hey, we want to hit these points. And so we're not like drained. I feel like when we were doing those ones where we'd have guests in here and we'd like have to have conversations, we were just drained because I really pride myself on being able to do testimonials or interviews really good in a way to where I get people to say what I want them to say, like what I need them to say for whatever the project is, you know?
Yeah.
And so when we'd have some of these podcasts, I was like, man, I need them to actually talk about this. And so I'm in here trying to figure out, okay, how can I get them to talk about this next thing? And it's just draining, bro, to try to do that.
Well, because your mind is like this. It's not, it's knowing where you want the conversation to go.
Right.
Not just, it's being proactive, not reactive.
Right.
Well, I guess you are being proactive and reactive, not just
I knew what you meant.
Asking a question and then being, oh.
Yeah. It's still a conversation, but it's structured.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't let our guests know like what the structure is.
Yeah.
But we have a form that people can fill out that's like, hey, I want to be a guest on the podcast. They fill out what they think they bring to the table, basically, of this podcast. And there's a section that's like, what are your non-negotiables? Like, you don't want to talk about this.
Right. And
so if they set whatever they put in there, we make sure that's not it.
Yeah.
And I actually, we use ChatGPT to help us get these outlines.
Yeah.
And it's not just hey, I'm doing a podcast on this, outline it. It's set up to where I'll say, hey, I'm about to do a podcast and I need help. And they'll say, okay, cool. Who's going to be on this podcast?
Right.
And I'll tell them if it's just us, cool. If it's someone else, they'll say, okay, what's their website and stuff. So I provide the website. They go and look up all this stuff about them. And then towards the end, it'll give me questions that it'll say, you may want to ask them these questions because I found this, this, and this that most people probably don't know. And
we're like,
that.
oh, thanks, friend.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, so what's the topic? And it just goes through and it's like, here are some questions that the audience may want to know. And so maybe incorporate these. The outline is dope that we have.
Yeah.
That may be something that we could try to like, if we do set up a newsletter, that may be something dope to give to people. Is just that prompt that people can use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To build out an outline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have I don't think you can do it on the free version. I can't remember of ChatGPT, but it might be might be a good idea. So we might do that if you're watching this and we
might not.
end up like if we have time to get it set up, we'll actually do it. Or maybe we can put it in the description. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe we do a whole YouTube video on.
Oh, that could be. Yeah.
I think that'd be a smart idea.
Hold us accountable. If you don't see it in the next few
message
months.
Doesn't say, hey, where's that video on the podcast outline?
Right. You were talking about guests and having them fill out. So when they come in, I wouldn't say that they have no idea what they're talking about.
No, yeah.
We know they're non-negotiables.
Yeah.
But we also do give them an idea.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to talk about. We have had a few guests, 1 or 2 maybe, come in here and we had a structure. And they would come in and say, okay, so I think I'm just going to talk about this. And we were like,
yeah, well, so, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that really
I don't want to say because I don't know if it's been out yet.
By the time this one comes out, that one won't be out yet. But it is going to be, it's Janelle.
Okay.
You guys have to watch that one. When it comes out, we'll put the card here just in case you watch this one before that
Add
one.
a card, Heather.
But she ended up talking about how also, you know what else I noticed? When we did the mental health episode and we said the word for unaliving, it got way less views.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Because like Reggie was saying, like, why do we make it so to where you can't talk about things? Like people, if you try to change the word for unaliving, and it makes people feel guilty when they're thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? But then I have to play the game of, I don't want YouTube to penalize us because we say, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a weird thing. Anyways, she tried to do that. And well, I shouldn't tell the whole story, right?
No,
Okay,
I'm like, where are you going with this?
Sorry. Anyways, we didn't know that about her until we started talking.
Yeah,
and
we had a completely different topic
we were
and structure.
It's still the same. It was still fit in.
That's
we were
right.
talking
It did
about
work
how
out.
losses lead to, like, when you're in that time of like you're getting beat and like you're losing, those things lead you to actually your biggest wins. That's what the whole episode was about.
Right.
But she hit us with that and we didn't even know that.
And it was like minutes before, like we were micing her. I was already sat down.
I thought that was part of the episode where she says that.
No, I'm pretty sure it was right before we even sat down. We were like, oh,
okay.
okay.
We'll see when I'll have to rewatch it.
We'll see.
But that all that to say is like, yeah, we have an outline, but it's flexible. You know what I'm saying? So like when stuff and we know how to, like, if that comes up, we still know the things we want to hit.
Right. So don't be, not us, but I guess people watching, if they're doing a podcast, you don't have to be so rigid. It doesn't have to, it can flow, but also be structured.
Yeah, have an outline because it saves, I feel like it saves so much.
Which actually, I feel like flows really well into our next thing, number 4, having lav mics.
Oh, yeah.
So we used to have the mic where it was, I don't know, what do you call it? Just a podcast mic where I think we used to clamp it on these tables or we had something else and it would be like actually on this side, it'd be like right here. And we decided to move away from, as cool as they look, we decided.
I know, bro. I still go back and forth. I kind of want one because they just look dope. Yeah, they look dope for like.
You know what we could do? No, never mind. That goes against what the first thing I was going to say is I feel like when people have those, they feel like they have to perform. Yeah. Or like they're on.
That's exactly,
Yeah. I was going to say, we could have that and still mic them. And I'm like, that goes against everything. It's fine. Yeah. So now we have lab mics, which is like the teeny tiny little mic that is just clipped
they're just clipped right here.
Yeah.
And
your beard always
I know that's
yours,
why my audio, like, I have to, it's muffled because my beard, it's a weird thing. And I'm not the like master at micing people, but I do what I can. But the cool thing about these, and we've noticed it already, is people forget that we're filming a podcast. I mean, they know because we're lit, but like they don't feel the pressure to perform because there's no mic in front of them. They forget they have this on.
And you don't even feel this on.
Yeah.
It's not,
And I mean, how many times have we been in these episodes and someone says, oh, are we recording yet? Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've been recording. You know what I'm saying?
Not even these, just in general. Anytime we've mic'd somebody with
Right.
these, they're like, oh, we started?
So I think that was a really cool lesson for us is like, we don't have to have the mics that, I love those mics. I think they look dope. They sound way better. I feel like they sound better.
You're just trying to think of every reason to be like, they're great. Let's do it.
No, I do. I want some because I think it'd be so cool. But
maybe
at the same
we'll do
time,
it for hours.
No,
okay.
But at the same time, it's I love this vibe.
It just removes the pressure.
Yeah, I love that so much. But if you're thinking you have to get a fancy mic, you don't need them. These labs work good, and they're really good if you have guests because you mic your guest up. And we use the Rode's. We should put it in the description. We use the Rode Wireless Go, I think 2s, and they go right to the camera, and we just sync the audio up, and then we're good.
Yeah.
And most of the time we don't have to sync it up. Cause these I just have set to where it goes right to the camera anyways. And it's just, because I was going to do as least work as possible just to prove that starting a podcast isn't that hard. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's been a cool, like, unexpected lesson.
Yeah. And led to better conversations in the end.
Right. Thumbnail templates.
Number 5.
Yeah. I feel like they save time and it keeps branding consistent. We have one, and the only tough thing is figuring out, because the way we have our setup is I think you can only fit like one word at the bottom. And so it's like figuring out what to put in order for it to make sense and fit in the thumbnail. And like, we do set it up to where if it's just me and you, it's easier kind of to like mix those pictures together. But when there's 3 or 4 people, then it's tougher. But the template saves a ton of time and it keeps everything consistent. Like if you guys look at the channel, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, we need to get on all the audio platforms, by the way. But if you're listening to one of those, check out our YouTube channel. You'll see all the branding is consistent. Yeah. And it's just, it takes no time to do. We switch out words.
But having a template too, like if you bring somebody else on to do it, it's easy.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Say it.
I was going to say, follow the one would think.
Yeah. No.
With the template, that would just be, it would help them help you stay consistent as well.
Right. And that's that. So going back to where we're talking about our clients being hesitant about starting podcasts, a big thing we wanted to do is we want to make sure we could do it to where we could set it up to where if we need to bring someone else in to create thumbnails or edit, someone else can do it easily. Like it's not hard. So that if someone or our clients, they want to start a podcast and they have a cousin or someone that they're just trying to have do stuff for cheap, they can send to them, hey, look, here's the template, just do this. You know what I'm saying? Like anyone can do it. So that's what we're trying to do with everything in this podcast is to make it as streamlined as possible. And the templates is one of those things for thumbnails.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I got excited about that one.
I know. I'm like, go ahead. I agree.
The next one.
Number
next one?
6. Yeah. Take messy action. Perfection isn't the goal, which is interesting because our last it our last? Yeah, our last podcast we talked about, what was it? Perfection? No.
It's basically about
progress over perfection, something like that.
I don't know if that's what we actually call it. It's just weird doing these when we're not sure what order it's going to be in, but it's like small wins, big results, something like that. But it's about not trying to be perfect, just little small wins at a time. But go ahead, I cut you off.
No, okay. So just getting started, just because you have a smaller audience, not everybody. I feel like the majority of people are going to have a smaller audience.
Oh, everyone starts with 0. Every single person starts with 0 people.
Isn't that kind of exciting?
Yeah, I love that. I feel like also it's less pressure.
Yeah.
Because like with this, bro, our YouTube, like our podcasts get less than like 60, 100 views.
Isn't it interesting how just in general, not podcasts, but in anything that anyone does, at the beginning, when you start with 0, do you feel like people care the most? And then when they get up to millions or like celebrities, it gets to the point where you just don't care.
I don't know. Like I don't care right now. I feel like there's no pressure because there's not not to take away from people that are showing love because we appreciate it. Like we love people that are showing love, but I know the people that are showing love now are people that they just support us. You know what I'm saying? They are our like day ones. Like but
there was a comment a few months ago where somebody was like, I'm in here before this channel blows up. And I was like, that is such a compliment. So thank you for that.
But I love being able to not have pressure because there's not a ton of people. I think when we have more people, it's going to be more of, okay, now we have a lot of people expecting. But the crazy thing, like, as I say that out loud, I'm still not going to care.
Right. That's what I mean.
So I'm still like,
I feel like if you love what you do, you will always care. But yeah, that's what, I don't know. I think my mind was flowing out of my mouth when I was like, when you first start, you overly care so much about what people think.
But that's
too much, unhealthy almost.
Listen, that's the lesson. Because I feel like in the beginning, we're like, okay, we have no followers of this podcast.
Yeah.
How are we going to get some?
Yeah.
When we stop focusing on that and just do our thing, people start following. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. That's what I meant. Like when I was comparing to celebrities. I don't think depending on who you are, I don't think you get to a point where you don't care. I think it's just, there's no pressure. You know who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think
feel
then...
Like celebrities have more pressure, I feel like. Because if they say the wrong thing, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's getting into a whole different thing. Like cancel culture and all like other things.
But I also feel like celebrities have a unfair advantage because they're celebrities.
Yeah.
You know? And also, I don't think that all celebrities that are popular means that they can do a podcast. Just because they're popular and people like them doesn't mean that people listen to a podcast. Because everyone can't do a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of any.
All I can think of is Shannon Sharp, where I'm like,
Bro, he's dope.
half the world listens to his
Shannon
podcast.
Sharp is dope. But yeah, just
imagine being a guest on his, or him being a guest on ours.
Yeah, or Kevin Hart's. Is he still doing it? I haven't seen anything for them.
Oh, that's right. I don't think I considered that.
Heart to Heart or something?
Yeah, Heart to Heart. I think I considered that. That's on Peacock, I think. I consider that more of a talk show, but I guess it is more of a podcast.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But the other thing is messy action. How this is all set up right now. Remember when we first started? It was just we had that lantern here, and like we're like, let's just.
And it was basically a bag hanging from it.
Yeah, it was like, but we started. You know what I'm saying? Who cares? I think people like get so like, I have to make sure this podcast is perfect and ready to go before I start anything. Bro, Do the first one because this is our 10th episode. No one's going to even care about your first few episodes. So make all the mistakes you can.
And what I like about that, I do look back at it and I never say this, but it's cringy.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
it's so bad. It's so trash.
However, I like that we did it because we can say it's proof when we talk to other clients or other people. It's proof that go back and look at it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yep.
We started with, whatever you want to call that.
Right. And we've talked about this. I want to have one of these. We use a Aperture FC22. Can't remember what the number. I suck at the model numbers, but it's a flat like LED panel. We're using that right now. Just one for both of us. It's up here and it's just shining light down. What I want to do is get one for her and one for me. And then we'll do something different for the background. I want to do there's so much stuff I want to do.
Here you go.
No, but the thing is remember it took us forever to start because we're like, man, I want to do all this stuff. I think we even talked about that in our first episode ever.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're doing it, we'll start adding that stuff and people aren't even going to notice. Like, bro, no one said anything about the wall. You know what I'm saying? But I want to get one that's lit just for you, one just from, and we have guests, like they all have their own light to where we have everyone lit perfect where they have that little, that little Rembrandt. But yeah, start messy. Like, don't wait till everything's perfect. Just start. I promise you, like, no one who is doing better than you will talk trash about you.
Yeah.
Ever. So
that quote, I keep hearing that lately.
Yeah.
I've heard it for like years ago. I heard it, but for whatever reason, that keeps coming up.
Yeah.
In the last probably month or so.
Even in the gym, there's no guy in the gym. I'm just saying, guy. There's no big dude in the gym that will see someone working out and struggling and will go and make fun of him. If anything, they'll be like, hey, what if you try this? Or let me help you. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the same with chicks too. Like, no chick that's doing better than someone else will ever trash that chick in the gym.
Yeah,
like, hey,
we'll
listen,
just
let me help
intentionally walk up and be like, you suck.
Yeah, like, so if someone's talking trash about you and saying something that you do looks bad or whatever, go and see what they're doing. That's the first thing to do. Go check out and see what they're doing. And then, anyways, next one. Messy action. Guys, take messy action. That was, what was 6? We're on 7.
Yeah. Next is in-person podcasts are tougher to schedule, but worth it.
Yeah. I love this in-person thing. Like having guests in here or when we go. Like another cool reason we have the labs, we don't have to take big mics with us. You know what I'm saying? Not big. We don't have to take all that. We just take these labs.
Yeah.
And we can mic whoever. We can shoot it wherever. But I like being in person. And it kind of sucks because we do get people that are like, hey, can we do a virtual podcast? And like some dope people. I'm like, bro, like, I don't think so. Because I love this in-person thing. And I think that's going to be
or they're on, I don't want to say a waiting list, but they know, okay, well, in October, we're going to be in your area.
Yeah.
So
which that's kind of dope, though. You know what I'm saying? But I just love this in-person thing. But it also sucks when it comes to like planning because you have to find days that people are off and they have to be okay driving to Nashville, you know what I'm saying, coming to Nashville or traveling here or just waiting, like you said, until we're in town. But I feel like it's worth it. Like to me, I feel like the in-person thing is way worth the.
Well, there's something about there is, and this is something else I don't really say a lot, but I do somewhat believe in is the energy, like the energy of people. There's something with when there's not a screen between us where it's
intimate.
It's
more intimate when we're in person.
But like you actually feel it.
Yeah. And that's why, like, because it's such a struggle sometimes to get the schedules right. That's why you'll see episodes with just us in it a few times, which is cool that we have us. You know what I'm saying? Like, but or if just something happens where we're like, hey, we need to go shoot that. Let's talk about that right now. And like, there's sometimes we do these podcasts and like, I don't have a really good outline. Like, listen, this is what we need to talk about. Let's go out here and record it real quick. We just do it.
Messy action.
Yeah. And I keep going back and forth on if we should, because bro, like there's people that want to do this podcast that will like help us blow this whole podcast up just because they're that dope of people. But it's like, and they get it. They're all like, okay. So if you do decide,
there's a right time.
Yeah, if you do decide to do podcasts like this, just know it's a little bit tougher to schedule. So plan on buffering a few episodes with like just you or you and whoever else is on the show that's like local. Until you can get those guest spots filled in.
Right.
So, where are we on?
Number 8. Every conversation can tie back to what you offer.
Yep.
no matter the topic, we find ways to, find a way to talk about what we do.
Yep.
And we've actually done that in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about, we haven't talked about family much, but that's kind of our vibe. But talking about our clients, teaching them how to, or, like basically telling them you can do a podcast, like encouraging them and, trying to figure out a way to get them to do it.
Right. And I love too that like our clients, a lot of them listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
Like I just like, because the cool thing, and you're talking about we didn't talk about family much, but like most of our clients, they end up being like family.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And that's why we keep dope clients. We don't have headache clients, but most of them are like, we would trust them with our house and I would almost say kids, but like I'm very non-trusting with people and our kids. I'm just like, that's one thing that, bro, some of my siblings, I don't even trust them.
It's nothing personal.
It's nothing personal. It's just like,
it's not you, it's me.
We get one chance to raise them. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, all that to say is some of our clients watch it because they're like, I miss you guys. I wanted to just listen to, like, I love that.
You know what? It reminds me of The Fast and the Furious when he's like, I don't have friends. Or he's like, I don't got friends, I got family.
I've never seen all those episodes.
Oh, that reminds me.
We have to watch them all.
I know, they're about to go, they have them all on Peacock. They're about to go off in like 2 days, I think.
We should watch them. I never watched the last one where, what's his name? He died. And they have
Wait. Okay, by now y'all should have seen.
No, the main guy. He's like died in real life.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
You have?
I have not seen that one.
Yeah, because we saw the one where they drive off.
Did I see that?
Yeah, remember, because I, like, story-wise and cinematically, I was like, that is so genius.
I don't remember it.
It's just, it was so, like, what's happening in the story. Like, it makes sense in the story, but it's just, like, dual, like, in real life. It's just, like, they're going their own ways and driving off. And I was like, I couldn't even cry about it. I was just almost in shock.
Because that's the one where they use his brother kind of for some of his face, right?
Not for that part. There's a
not that part, but like during the shooting,
he was like on the beach or something like that. I can't remember. That I got way off. Don't get me talking about the story.
Okay, so back to every conversation. Like every episode you do can tie back to whatever it is you're offering. And for us, I feel like the last 10 episodes we've done have tied back to something somehow. And not in a super like salesy way. It's just a subtle way of mentioning. And we've talked about a whole bunch of stuff. We've had a whole bunch of different topics. I guess 10 so far. I just know all the other episodes we have. And we're able to tie them all back to what we're all about. I feel like people underestimate the power of having a podcast.
Yeah.
That's why we try to get all of our clients on one. Because it's like, bro, you can always weave in your stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like this goes way back to the beginning where we talk about being authentic, being unapologetically yourself. If you are being authentic, I feel like that's going to come across in every episode. It's not going to be like sales.
Right.
It's going to be like, no, this is genuinely what I believe in and what I want you to do, what I want to weave in here into this conversation.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not about being super salesy. Like I feel like you're saying, you can just slide it right in there. Another thing that I was just now thinking about, and I've seen some people do this, is do self like ads. Like so ads for yourself.
What do you mean? Ads
for whatever product you have. So like, let's say we're doing a podcast.
An episode?
Yeah, like shoot your own ads to where you cut and to add you, hey guys.
Commercial.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we might start doing that. That might be a cool I don't know, it depends because it might just mess up the vibe, but we'll see.
That's interesting because a couple years ago, we heard a speaker somewhere, and he was talking about how he grew up. He said that he wanted to have his own TV show when he grew up, and then he ended up having a podcast show, something like that. And I just find that stayed with me. I find it so interesting because we all do.
Yeah.
When we're little, you watch TV, and I don't know if maybe you're at some point. I think everybody has thought, I want to be on TV, or I want to have my own show. I want to be a movie, or whatever. And then here we are.
Yeah, today, like the way the world is now, everyone has their own TV show. And that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why people don't have podcasts.
Here we go, tying it back in.
I wasn't even trying to do that.
No, I know. It just flowed so well. That's funny.
The next one, don't get caught up in episode length.
Yeah.
That was a lesson we've learned because we're like, man, how long should it be? And as we've had conversations with people, we've learned that like just let the conversations happen. Like, and the outlines help with this too. Like, we hit the points we want to hit. And so it's not.
And even in outlines, I would say the episodes sometimes are longer or shorter, but even the outlines, it just works out that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes the outlines are longer or they're shorter.
Yep. And just like however long it needs to take to say something and get a point across, do it.
Yeah.
If there's value in it, people are going to watch.
It takes as long as it takes.
Yeah, exactly. And most people, there's a guy, he commented, the Quad King. He said, I found my new cardio podcast, which was dope. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's when I'm on the I don't listen to podcasts when I'm doing cardio. I watch different shows. But think about it. Some people just listen to a podcast as they're working out. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of dope. Like,
and I know some of our clients, they'll listen to it on the treadmill or like on the bike.
Yeah.
And we have one who listens to it on her drive to work.
Yeah, that's dope. I forgot about that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, as long as the episode delivers value, it doesn't matter how long it is.
Yeah.
I feel like it can be 15. I loved how he stopped doing them, but he was doing 5-minute episodes.
Who?
Kyle, we had him on here.
Oh,
he was doing 5-minute episodes. I thought that was the smartest idea because like.
That's funny too, because that's something where you would, like your initial thought would be like, what? Like you hear about it, like what? And you watch it and you're like.
Yeah, it was, well, he was only doing audio too.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, bro, do video too. It's easy. You know how I am.
The whole thing. Yeah. The whole thing.
But
We all
stopped
know.
him. Kyle, if you were listening to this or watching, come on, man. You got to start back on that.
Yeah.
You want to do this next one?
Yeah. Number 10. I feel like maybe the most important one. Maybe not. I don't know. Batch shoot as often as you can. Batch shooting, for those who don't know, is where you film a few episodes at a time. So maybe in this case, we have like 2 more after this. Sometimes we just, like he said earlier, we just come out here and we film 1.
Yeah.
And then we have some days where we're scheduled, okay, we're going to film 5 today.
Yeah. That's what we try to do. Because then we know, because remember when we were going out of town, we knew we're going to be gone for this long. We're not going to want to film any unless we're there. But we don't want to have any pressure of having to film some in time to get on, like, published out.
And that's going to come across too. If you're feeling like,
I have to do something.
Like in the podcast, I'm like, okay, gotta hurry up and film this because we gotta hurry and get it out tomorrow.
Right. So like right now we have this one, and like even though this is our 10th episode, we have 3 more that are already scheduled right now.
In the beginning when I'm like, I don't know what episode.
Yeah. So it's like when you batch shoot, it takes so much stress off of trying to make sure you hit published dates or whatever. And that's another thing. And I don't think this is one of the lessons that we have on here, but bro, don't get so caught up in having to hit published dates. Like if you miss one, you miss one. Who cares? Like no one's gonna be like, oh, you missed it.
Right.
You know?
Somebody's out here. I think when do ours go out? Sunday or Monday?
Sundays, but we really don't talk about them until Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No one's sitting down here on Tuesday like.
Yeah, where's it at? Yeah.
I mean, all the people are because they're so excited to listen and watch.
Right. But imagine if you got to the point to where you put these out so much and you missed a day and someone's like, you missed a day, you know you've made it then because someone's like, they're waiting for it. That's kind of dope, but most of the time, no one's just going to care if you miss a week.
Yet.
I mean, but I like, again, the idea of batch shooting because, like we said earlier, you have episodes ready to just pump out.
Well, that's just content in general, too, which ties back to us and our clients. Where they come in and, you know, I'd say the majority of our clients are not here in Nashville.
I don't think we have.
So either we fly to them or they fly to us, come in, we'll shoot.
Like a quarter.
Most of the time it's a quarter of content.
And like that's over what, 3 days?
Well, it just depends.
Yeah.
Remember Lou's, I think we got it all done in 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
That one time?
I forgot about that. But anyways, so batch shoot, it saves so much time. And like she said, not just with podcasts, but like it'll save you so much time just if you want to create content for social. Shoot a whole bunch and then just schedule it out to where you don't have to think about it. It's done. That's what we try to do. We set a day like, okay, on this day, we're going to film this many podcast episodes and we just do it. But make sure it's topics you're excited about. Because if it's not, bro, you're just filming to film.
Again, it's going to come across.
Because we could film, I feel like I could film like maybe the 3 next ones today, just because how I feel and the topics we have coming up. But I know we're supposed to be doing some stuff with the girls, so I know this is going to be cool. We're not doing any more after this. So all to say, if hopefully like these 10 tips have helped clear some things up.
Yeah.
Like, and if
And
you've
you
been...
don't even have to do them all.
Yeah.
Just take a handful. Just
do a podcast, guys. Listen, and if you start a podcast, please let us know, like, because I'll be your biggest supporter. And I'm that way with people that I follow on Instagram. I'll like your stuff before I see the whole video or read all the text.
Yeah,
just because you show up on my feed
like,
and I follow
and then
you,
watch the whole video for support.
Because I'd be trying to support everyone. So if you start a podcast, let us know, because I will be the first one to subscribe to your channel.
And I think these 10 things we talked about, it just proves that you learn as you go.
Yep. Yeah, you don't have to have everything figured out.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to learn, like you said, as you go, and then just adjust.
A good example of that is life.
Yeah.
Are you born knowing every single thing?
Right.
No. Think about baby steps. I know it's cliche, but literally baby steps.
Right. And then, like, you guys, hopefully from this, we do this kind of stuff for a living. So if you run into someone, we're like, yes, I want to start a podcast. We're like, how? I don't know where to start. Even with our 10 lessons we've learned, you're still like, okay, I still need some kind of help. Bro, hit us up. For real.
Filming, editing.
Put it in the, when you do the metadata, make sure you put our info in it. Because I don't know if you've been doing it, but put our...
I have been, but I'll continue.
Is it so they can click it? Is it linkable?
I don't know.
You know it isn't. I bet you it's not. I'm going to look. But put the link in there. So that way, if you guys do have questions about podcasting or starting a podcast, whatever it is, we'll have a link for you. Either like hit us up on Instagram, probably do the website, and then let's do our podcast website too.
Cool.
But cool. I think that's good.
Done.
Like, do you have any like...
I concur.
No, do you have anything? Come on, man.
No, I think that was great.
Bro, 10 episodes.
I know.
This is dope.
We're 10-year-olds.
What? Our podcast is 10-year-olds? No, it's not 10 years old.
Well, not 10 years. It's the 10th episode.
It'd be like the 10... How many months is it?
Week. Well, you have to go by week. It's released by week.
Yeah, so how many months is it?
2.5.
Oh, it's a little baby. Little baby podcast.
We're 10 weekers.
All right. So, bonus tip. We always shoot our hooks at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because sometimes we don't know what we're going to talk about all the way, and there might be some stuff that sticks out. And so we always do them towards the end. And so now we're going to go ahead and do our hook. Most people don't get to see this part. All right, ready? So we're going to do like, you know what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. You can't start with hey, guys.
Okay. Most people don't last.
Most podcasts.
Most podcasts don't last past the path. Dang it.
I'm leaving all these in here.
Most people don't last.
Podcast.
Most podcasts don't last past the 10th episode. Well, this is our 10th episode, and we are going to be sharing the 10 tips we've learned about podcasting. Let's talk about it. What? It's that big gap.
I know. Do it over, bro.
Okay.
You can say 10 things we learned about podcasting so far, or 10 things we learned so far.
Okay.
And then let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing this one because this one's long.
Most podcasts don't last past the 10th episode. Well, this is our 10th episode, and we want to talk about the 10 tips that we've learned along the way in podcasting. Let's talk about it.
The 10 tips?
I know.
You should have said 10 lessons.
Oh, it's fine. Because in the data, I'll say lessons.
No, but what? Let's just try it one more time.
I'm trying to hit everything else except the word lesson. Okay, whatever.
Well, listen, we'll do that one again. If that one's okay, let's just try to see if we can get lesson, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Most podcasts don't last past the 10th episode. Well, this is our 10th episode, and we want to share the 10 lessons we've learned in doing our podcast. Let's talk about it.
Come on, man. You did that one. You did it, though.